Area police were kept busy with a couple of accidents on major roadways yesterday. The Ferdinand Town Council names the town's next police chief, and sports with Kurt Gooksell. Those stories and much more are up next here on 18 WJTS News. Hello, I'm Bradford Raths. In your news, area police were kept busy over the last 36 hours with a couple of accidents. We begin with an accident at the Bradford Junction just after the noon hour yesterday. A Perry County child was treated for minor injuries as a result of an accident involving the minivan he was riding in and a triaxle truck early yesterday afternoon at the Bradford Junction. Indiana State Police say 35-year-old Deidre Mundy of Tell City was southbound on State Road 162, approaching the intersection with State Road 64 just after 12:30 p.m. when police say she failed to stop her minivan at the junction, and her minivan was struck by a westbound triaxle truck driven by 46-year-old Stephen Wiseman of Birdseye. Police say Wiseman had stopped at the intersection before proceeding. He was not injured in the crash. Mundy did not appear to be injured, but was taken to Memorial Hospital in Jasper for observation. Police say a passenger, 3-year-old Maximilian Mundy, suffered small cuts to his head and was also taken to Memorial Hospital where he was treated and released. Police say the vehicle's occupants were wearing restraints that resulted in prevented and reduced injury. No charges were filed in the accident. Then heading into rush hour yesterday afternoon, an accident near the Dale exit off of Interstate 64 in northern Spencer County left one person injured and affected traffic along the interstate for several hours. Spencer County Sheriff's deputies say a tractor trailer was eastbound along I-64 at the 57B mile marker near the Dale exit at about 4 p.m. yesterday afternoon when the truck's driver started to feel sick. Deputies say the driver then overcorrected his truck after it started to veer, causing the truck to tip over onto its side and blocking the eastbound lanes of I-64. The driver of the semi, whose name was not released, was treated at a regional hospital for non-life-threatening injuries. Interstate 64 near the Dale exit at US 231 was blocked for about 2 to 3 hours while the scene was being cleaned up. The Dale Police Department, the Santa Claus Police Department, the Gentryville Police Department, and Indiana State Police all assisted at the scene. A relative says an Indiana State Trooper is up and about after being wounded in a shootout in which he killed a man robbing a gun shop. Trooper Jared Lentz's grandmother says bullets struck his protective vest during the shooting Monday in Montgomery up in Davies County. Suzanne Lentz of Lagodi says more than 100 police officers and others arrived at the Evansville hospital where he was treated before being released that night. Police say 60-year-old James Jones of Shoals died in the shootout. Lagodi Police Chief Kelly Rahill says Jones had been involved in past domestic disputes but had had no criminal issues in the last few years. Last night, the Ferdinand Town Council made its selection for the next police chief for the town. Ricky Patton, a Virginia native with 10 years of experience as a trooper with the Virginia State Police, was the council's unanimous choice to fill the position. Patton will be hired as an entry-level patrolman and will immediately be promoted to chief of police when he accepts the job. Patton also has experience in the military to go along with his state trooper experience, as well as having owned a small trucking company. Ferdinand Town Council President Ken Seacard says Patton's wide variety of experiences made him stand out from the other 5 finalists for the position, including multiple officers that currently work for the Ferdinand Police Department.
I think a lot of it comes from, well, he had the military experience where he was in charge of, a group of people that worked on jets and helicopters to keep them flying. He then came back, he ran his own trucking business for a number of years. And then finally he said he had made a decision, he wanted to be a state trooper, and he went on and he's put 10 years in with the Virginia State Police. In doing the due diligence and calling and talking to different people, getting their opinions of him, he came highly recommended.
Seacard says Patton's experience in small towns also played a big factor in the decision to pick him as the next chief. Seacard says the job calls for someone who is familiar with the small town environment.
His experience comes from the very small towns, and that was considered, I thought very very important, because I didn't want to bring somebody in from, let's say, in Indianapolis or something like that. I wanted somebody who's used to working with, people, being close to them, and, going about business, getting to know people by name.
Patton's offer of the job does have several conditions tied to it. These include a pre-employment drug screening and meeting the Indiana Law Enforcement Training Academy's requirements within a year of his hiring. Additionally, he must live in Ferdinand or within 2 miles of the town limits by the end of his first year on the job. Patton currently resides in Jasper. The council approved Patton's yearly salary at $48,100. Current interim chief Rob Randall has been asked to fill the role of assistant chief of police. Former police chief Ted Beaker resigned on May 17th, citing conflicts between himself, the town council, and the town manager. Beaker will remain as a captain with the department. A new report released on Monday shows that almost the state's entire corn crop has emerged and the vast majority of the soybean crop has been planted. According to the Indiana Crop and Weather Report released on Monday by the National Agricultural Statistics Service, 100% of the intended corn acreage across the state this year has been planted, and of that, 97% of it has emerged. That's down slightly from last year when 100% of the corn crop had emerged. Soybean planting, though progressing well in recent weeks, is still lagging well behind last year's progress. For the week that ended on Sunday, 93% of soybeans had been planted, which is up 6% from last week, but still below last year's 100% pace. 83% of the soybean crop has emerged as of this point, which is 6% above the 5-year average, but 14% off of last year's pace. The Statistics Service says 55% of corn planted statewide is in good condition, with 18% of it being in excellent condition. The Northeast DuBois School Board met last night to discuss an exciting new feature for students this upcoming school year. All students in grades 7 through 12 will receive iPads to use for their classes. Bill Hoaxsang, superintendent for Northeast DuBois, says it's important not only for the students to start learning about the new technology quickly, but also for the parents as well.
One of our big things this year is the iPads and getting those into the students' hands as quick as we can. So tonight we kind of laid out our plan for getting those into the hands during registration. And our goal is to get the parent and child educated on the iPad so that they understand the handling and taking care of them. And we just want to make sure that they last for all the years that we need them to last. And also we want them to be usable. So we want the kids to get them and start using them even before school starts.
Northeast DuBois will have a brief orientation on the care and handling of the iPads for parents and students during registration, which is scheduled for Wednesday, July 31st at 4, 5, 6, and 7 p.m., as well as Thursday, August 1st at 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. Parents and students must attend this orientation in order to receive their iPads. The orientation will take place in the high school cafeteria. Hoaxsang says there will still be traditional textbooks for the students along with the iPads, but eventually textbooks will be phased out entirely. Hoaxsang says all Northeast DuBois school grades will soon adopt iPads in the classroom.
This is the first year of our 3-year rollout. First year is 7 through 12, and then the following year we'll add 5th and 6th grade, and then finally it'll be K through 12, where every kid in our corporation will have an iPad in their hands.
The students will be able to take the iPads home with them during the school year. Hoaxsang did mention in the meeting last night that there will be a filter on each iPad as to ensure that they are protected under the umbrella of the school corporation, even when they're at the students' homes. A Spencer County amusement park has once again received a Certificate of Excellence Award. Santa Claus-based Holiday World and Splash and Safari has won the Certificate of Excellence Award for the 3rd year in a row. The award, from TripAdvisor.com, honors excellence in hospitality and is only given to businesses that consistently earn outstanding reviews from travelers on the TripAdvisor website. The award is only given to businesses in the top 10% of performance as listed on TripAdvisor.com. Holiday World Media Relations Director Paula Werney says the award is indicative of many people giving the park high marks following their visits.
What makes this Certificate of Excellence from TripAdvisor.com so important to us is that it's built on review, on top of review, on top of review. It's not just one travel writer coming to visit and saying good things about us. These are our actual guests who visit us from virtually all over the world, going on to TripAdvisor and saying wonderful things about their individual experiences. So that means it's not just one day when we lucked out and had a good day with one individual.
Businesses must have an overall rating of 4 or higher out of a possible 5 and must have been listed on TripAdvisor for at least a year in order to qualify for a certificate of excellence. Also included in the criteria is the volume of reviews that have been received in the last year. This year's award means that Holiday World has now received the Certificate of Excellence in each of the 3 years that it has been awarded. More than 700 visitors have reviewed the park on TripAdvisor.com. Splash and Safari was designated the #1 water park in the country by TripAdvisor back in 2011, a designation that has not been awarded to any other park in the years since. Holiday World and Splash and Safari are now open daily for the season. For more information, you can visit the park's website at holidayworld.com or call 1-877-463-2645. Coming up after the break, more warm days ahead in your local forecast, sports with Kurt Guxell, and Inform featuring the Ferdinand Heimatfest Queen, Little Miss, and Little Mister pageant winners. That's all up next here on 18 WJTS News. Local people watching local people.